Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and we have an exciting show for you. Lots of real positive Xbox news that has come out in the last couple of days. I mean, again, folks, I know that it's been tough. Monday, they dropped a bomb on us. Tuesday, we had to continue having that conversation. And obviously, Wednesday night, well, it didn't happen on Monday, obviously. It happened on Tuesday. We talked about it on Tuesday. We covered it again last night on Primetime Gaming. Everyone that I have worked with has said their piece on it. Shout out to Paris Lilly, who put out a video this morning, something that he's going to be doing on a regular basis, which I'm here for. I like the work that he does over at Kind of Funny. I love the work that he's done over at Gamertag Radio, and now he's going to kind of venture out to do some of his own things, which he started with a 17-minute video, specifically talking about some of the things that's transpired over the last 2 days. I highly recommend checking it out. I asked him to be here. What I didn't catch initially is that he is sick. He's fighting a cold. So obviously I like to listen to people's things when I'm like cleaning. Like that's usually my best time because I take care of the housework and I can still listen to podcasts. It's a win-win situation for everybody. So I missed the part where he said when he opened up, "Hey, excuse me, that I'm sick." So we're going to get him back on here at another time. And obviously, I'm going to get a chance to meet him in person in LA next month, which is super cool. I never met him in person. Hopefully I can meet Danny as well. I love those two guys. It's going to be great to not only catch up with them, so many people in the community that are going to be there. I'm stoked. I cannot wait to get out there. So C Money, good morning.
Good morning.
How the heck have you been? How's the family? What's going on, brother? Welcome.
Being good, man. Being good. Family's great, thank God. Girl's a little sick, but they'll get through it. They're good. Yeah, man, everything's been good. I mean, I know the news has been a little divisive out there. People are, upset about things, but I think we're starting to get out of. I mean, the immediate nature of it, where everybody was talking about it in a big way, and now we can start kind of getting to the stuff that we're really here for, right? The gaming and what's
Yeah.
going to come to us, and what are we excited about as Xbox gamers. And that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm excited for. So yeah, man, let's fucking go, bro. I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's what we're here for, folks. Obviously, at the core of what we do here in Double Barrel Gaming is obviously integrity, transparency, and, well, hashtag fun, right? We like to bring fun topics to the conversation. The one thing I do want to kind of just put out there and let this get, for everyone to kind of just take it in, we do not shy away from the tough conversation. I think that if you do, then you're not really doing your audience the proper justice as a host or a showrunner. Again, when the times are tough, we got to talk about it. Feelings are going to be a part of that conversation. Sometimes we're going to be emotional. Sometimes, and I'm even going to curse, and I don't like to do that. But this is what it's all about. But we are here today specifically to talk about games. Now, you see, I'm starting to smile. Right before we went live, I downloaded the new DLC for Vampire Survivors, and
Ooh.
oh my freaking goodness.
That's the Contra one.
It is the Contra one.
Oh,
and
snap.
I'm getting goosebumps, folks, because I just got a power-up that gives me the spread. And I'm like, oh my God, it is $2.74 for the DLC. For the love of Joe, please.
That's wild.
Go buy the game if you haven't. Go support. This is one dude that is making this. Now, I'll say this. I only have maybe 7 minutes into it. I just crossed I think it was 7 days in this game. I have 7 days
Yeah.
in Vampire Survivors. I'm gonna add another set. This new DLC, oh my god, it's so freaking awesome.
Wow.
Now, I
Nice.
always had a hard time finding the DLC. So I want to give everyone kind of a pro tip, small un poquito pro tip, so you can go and you can find it so you don't run around like a knucklehead, like, where is everything? When you start the game, you're going to see something that says adventures. That is where all the DLC is, all of them, and they have like it's it's just so freaking good. I mean, like,
Nice.
I almost want to stop the show to go play. I'm not going to front. It's so good. Oh my god. So
That's
yes,
dope.
go get the DLC. It's $2.74. Please support this man that has made me one of the happiest gamers. I've been playing it nonstop. Like for me, like I'm in Fallout 4 like neck deep. I'm in Dragon's Dogma neck deep, right? And
Oh,
sometimes
you got it. Then wasn't you, like, iffy about that in the beginning before you were like, to buy it? Wasn't that the game?
I wasn't sure if I was gonna buy it. Now it's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
that
games of the
exactly.
year. Yeah, it's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah,
games
that
of the
the
year.
last time we talked about it, you weren't sure if you
Yeah,
were gonna do it, so you did it, and
yeah, and
you
it's
love it.
one of
I'm
my
telling you,
favorite
I was in
games
the
of the
same
year.
boat, bro. Same boat,
It's
such a good
dude, it's
game.
so good. But the problem with these ginormous open world games is sometimes I feel like you go to start and you're like, man, it's just so much to do. Sometimes you just want to sit in your chair and just move the stick around and let it go. And that I immediately, for me as a gamer, I go right back to Vampire Survivors. Now, the thing is this, why I'm excited for the Contra stuff, because well, I'm a Contra fan. And obviously the new Contra that released this year, Chef's Kiss, if you haven't bought it.
Oh, nice.
If he's working with Konami on Contra, I guarantee that his next DLC is going to be
Castlevania.
Castle Mother Bania, and I oh my god.
Boom,
So,
you eating good, bro.
yeah,
You
we
eating
are.
good, bro.
It is time to get excited. So what I
Absolutely.
want to do is I kind of want to talk about Obsidian's Avowed, because thanks to Ecstasies, last week he had put out now listen, if you don't know who Ecstasies is, he is a YouTuber from Spain. He has a phenomenal YouTube channel. I've had him on the show a couple of times. Absolute gentleman gamer when I tell you. Well, here's the thing. He doesn't really clout chase. I've never seen him do it. He has a lot of really pointed connections in the industry. I don't know who he talks to, and I honestly don't care. What I do care is that he is a community member that consistently puts out very entertaining tweets with a lot of substance, and most of the things that he talks about come to fruition. So he put out a tweet last week, and I don't know why this got buried. I just was a lot happening. So I had a lot of the topics we're going to talk about today were originally supposed to be talked about on this Tuesday's Xbox Factor podcast, which of course it was breaking news about the closing studios. So we had to kind of just push these off to the side. And well, here we are. So I don't know so much about you, ladies and gentlemen. For me, one of my listen, I am excited AF for Xbox and first party. What happened sucks, but you cannot deny that at least we have a freaking roadmap of games. Now,
Bangers.
I mean,
Not just
everything
not just
seems,
bangers,
and
bangers.
again, I don't think we're going to get a Redfall situation on any of them. But here's the thing. We want to play the games. We want the games in our hands before we call them bangers, right? We want to put 10, 15, 20, 30 hours into it. We want to run through an Indiana Jones and give you a review. But we have to be fair here, C Money. There is an onslaught of games. Even with all of the negative news, we cannot deny that something like Avowed, which is going to be, it's Obsidian. It's an Obsidian game. It's a new IP. It's made from something that's true and dear to their hearts with the pillars of Eternity franchise. They really care about that, and they have taken all of that lore and put it into this first person monster adventure that is going to mimic their
Right.
other first person space adventure. Why is it ringing? Outer Worlds. And
Yep.
I loved Outer Worlds. You know why I loved Outer
Fantastic.
Worlds, See Money? Because of the interaction with the characters. It gave me a very Mass Effect feel.
I was just about to say
Like
it's
you
like it was like a mini Mass Effect.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. So listen, I want to bring you right in on this because here is what Ecstasies had to say. And this is really good stuff, folks. No one is talking about this. So kind of, grab your ham and cheese sandwich and just chill because we're gonna break it down for you right now. Apparently, they're going to have great consequences, see money. Some
Mhm.
small and some more intimate consequences that will happen right after your the choices you make and the missions that you accomplish. It goes on to say consequences that occur several hours after the decisions through the missions will absolutely affect your play. So this is where I get excited because we're talking now. We're kind of moving into that um uh you know level of your game is going to be very different from
From
mine.
mine.
Very
Yes.
similar, see money, to like Starfield. Like you'll tell me a story and I'm like, you what? Where did you find that?
Starfield
Oh,
was
I
like the
found
king
this
of that
over
shit
here.
for sure.
Yes. Yes. So let me just read the last three paragraphs. I'm gonna let you
Yep.
go crazy because you're an RPG guy like me. You like big stories, you like
True.
consequences. Consequences in gaming, even though it could be, a little muddy sometimes and you're mad that you made a choice, everyone's game apparently is going to be different. I think that is super cool. So he goes on to
Agreed.
say consequences that occur through an accumulation of actions and decisions. For example, reaching an agreement with a character who seems important will be based on several decisions you've made before. So there's a lead up to you getting this NPC into your party, right? Which is
Mm.
dope. They want them to feel organic, believable, and surprising. He cited Pentiment as great examples. Now, he's not talking about the
Wow.
game is going to be like Pentiment. He's talking about the game is going to have consequences like Pentiment had. And finally, they have a bunch of great surprises hidden in the world, which can only be found through exploration and which will have great impact on the state of the world. Dude, that is freaking awesome. Let's talk about Avowed, man.
Yeah, Avowed, first of all, this has been a long time coming, right? We've been looking forward to this game for a long time since they did the first trailer for it that turned out to be very different because obviously we know they did make some changes along the way, made it more focused, but it's clear right now when you hear this and all the choices and everything that they're doing when they talked about making it more focused for them to make it more of what Obsidian does, right? Just like we talked about Outer Worlds, right? The best thing about Outer Worlds for me was exactly what you said, Boom. It was the characters, the way that you interacted with them, the choices you can make were phenomenal, right? So all this tells me is that they're doubling down on what they do best, right? That's why they were doing, even though there's a whole big stink about it, as always, anything that's being mentioned about an Xbox game, there's always a big stink about it. They focused it and now they're going to deliver what I would have just assumed is more of what they started with. Um, not even started because they've done this forever, but more of what they gave us in Outer Worlds. Avowed looks phenomenal to me, man. The first time I saw it, the gameplay version of it, I was a little it didn't quite, meet where I was looking for visually from the game, because they showed us that really dark trailer the first time, and it was changed. They
Very
still have those dark.
Skyrim-esque, if you
Yeah,
will.
they turned it more Skyrim, which
Uh,
I don't have a problem with, but it just wasn't, like, lining up in my mind right away. But by the time the second time they showed it again, the last time they showed it, you can see the quality jump immediately from the first time to this time. And I can only imagine how much further they've come, but you can tell that they're obviously that's like the last stage of it, right? Putting all the shine on it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it really looks phenomenal. I'm excited for the gameplay. You know, the melee combat looks really dope. I love the idea of everything that they have going on with the magic stuff, and it looks like it's going to be really great. But for me, it seems like the characters is going to take it again. I could just imagine. Like it just looks like
Yeah.
that's what they're focused on. The whole consequence situation, that's fire, dude. Like that's one of my favorite things about a game. Like when we were talking about Starfield, when when we were all playing it big heavy and going through it, and those conversations that you were having with like your homies and talking about it, and you did this, like what are you talking about? I never even did this. And me starting a whole new line that people didn't even get to yet. It's like, yo, this is crazy how different this single game is, this one game that everybody is playing, how different it is for everybody. When you start giving us that the ability to make decisions that are impactful, because it's not, I mean, let's call it what it is, man. Anytime a game introduces like these choices and then you find out that it wasn't really a choice, like an illusion of choice, is like, why did you even put the choice there? You know what I'm saying? Like, why give us a choice if it's not going to have an impact, right? That's why, like, I don't know, Gears of War, it's been out for a long time, right? Maybe I won't talk about it, but there's a decision there that I feel is a huge decision, like impactful in the game. Like, wow, this is going to change everything. But then, your mind sits back and says, well, it like this decision is almost too big because they're going forward when they make another one. Which version are they going to keep? Right. Like they can't, like, these are two main people. So, like, your decision in that game, either you did the decision that they went with and you're like, yo, my decision, look at what it made, or you made the other decision and then they double back on it. Like, oh man,
I have two
that's not cool.
saves. I have two different
Oh, you went
saves.
both?
Oh, yes, I did. So I'm going to see which one plays out in Gear 6 that I like, because if it goes one way, and because the story is gonna dude, the whole game is gonna change
Yeah, it's
based
gonna be a
on that.
completely different game.
So
I don't know
yes,
who I
yes.
don't know who you I don't know who you saved. I know who I saved. I don't know if maybe we shouldn't talk about it, but
I
um
mean, the game is 5 or 6 years old. Listen,
all right,
folks.
I saved JD. Okay.
Oh,
I saved JD. I
you
had
know
to keep the
what?
bloodline. I couldn't
I
like,
I did not save JD. I
oh
let him
man.
go, man. I let him go.
See, I did it less for JD and more for Marcus. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I can't kill his son. He's giving me too much. You know what I'm saying? Marcus has done too much for me in these streets. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
That's like your brother
look,
has a kid,
I'm
and
not
then you
gonna
have like
lie.
some dude you just met, and you're like,
Y-
fuck it, sorry, kid. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't. JD
y-
was the dude. I don't
you
know.
know, it's
And I
funny.
also feel like he's more likely to be in the next game than the other dude.
It's possible. I mean, it's definitely for sure. But you know what? I gotta be honest with you. Like, I know that they're not real people, right? They're characters.
Yeah, yeah.
When Kate tells Marcus that JD died, I felt like I just killed I just killed this dude's kid. That's
See,
how
I
I
didn't see
felt.
that. You know what I'm saying? Because I made the
I
right
felt like
decision.
that. Like,
Boom. Okay.
oh man, I can't believe this. This is
See, there was
awful.
nobody to cry to when the other two died. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
real
It's just
quick.
like,
The Black John. Welcome as always, brother. Nice to have you here. He
what's up,
says
fam?
JD was a D. The
I
whole
mean, he was.
game, he
Again,
kind
it
of
wasn't
was,
for him.
bro.
I didn't save it
Uh,
for him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't save him for him. I saved him for Marcus. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I owed it to Marcus, okay, for every
oh my
bit of
goodness.
joy that I received from Gears of War. But nah, but this is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, that decision though, as dope and as crazy and impactful as it was, because it was. If that was Gear 6 and they did that, like the end of the trilogy, and it was like, that's it, you're choosing who's gonna live or die, and that's your story, how it ended, that's different. This one, I just feel like I said, they're gonna choose one to make canon, right?
Yeah,
And because they're making another game and they're keeping the same assortment of characters, right? So that's the only thing that I don't like. Whereas when you look at something like Starfield or any of these other things, it's in this game, these decisions are going to be impactful. Now, that's only because nobody has done what Mass Effect was able to do, right?
I think
And
dude, you're onto something here, C Money, and I think I know where you're going. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not saying that it's going to be mirrored, like they're going to run parallel, but Avowed. If I'll put it this way, if we get what we got in Outer Worlds, but in a D&D setting, I'm good. I think they're going to go further because it's Pillars of Eternity, bro.
it's the exciting part for them because they're finally like Pillars will. I mean, don't get me wrong, Pillars became a thing, right?
Yeah. I never played
Like,
it.
oh, we never like I never played it. It's not something to us, right? So it was more for like the people who were into that type of game and really, really loved it, who went ahead and did it. I never played it. But I feel like now they're gonna open up pillars to the rest of us, right? Like we're now gonna get a chance to see that world and see what it means. And all that work that they put in to the last two games that they made that built the lore and the foundation for this world is all going to start to pay off. And honestly, when you get a first game in a new story, like in a new universe, there's a lot of stuff that they kind of have to, you know, build up and see what works, right? And you're kind of like the guinea pig of that world because they made it and they're hoping that people like it. The good news for us is Avowed is already in a world that has two games previously that are proven that people love it, right? Because it's a beloved franchise by the people who love it. It's just not hugely commercially successful. So now we're going to get the benefit of seeing that. We're going to get the benefit of a finessed world, a world that they already know works really, really well. And then they're just building on top of that to deliver something that honestly I feel is going to be huge for Xbox. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I think it's going to be a high rated game. I don't think this is going to be a miss for them. And like you said, you know, I know I said bangers, right? And you said, obviously we got to play games before we could definitively say they're bangers, right? And that's fair, right? But I think at the end of the day, for me, when I say bangers, I'm thinking of the whole picture, right? Who's giving me this game?
Fair.
What
Fair
what is the
point.
game about? So when I look at it, it's like my level of anticipation is like, yo, that's a banger right there, right?
Yeah.
That looks crazy. That's something I'm super amped for. Not like, oh, we got this game coming, right? Like, for instance, to some people, our history untold is a banger, right? Like in their mind, they're like, oh my God, I got a banger of a game coming. Our history untold. To me, that wouldn't be a banger because I know I'm gonna play it because it's on Game Pass and I'll check it out and see if I like it. But it's not in my mind something that I'm normally gonna be into that much, right? So, but these are just, you got this, you got Indiana Jones, man. I look at that, I'm like, yo, sign me up, bro. Like, let's go. Like, I'm so pumped. Like, I feel like Xbox now, and I it's sad, and I think, a lot of people could feel what they feel about me, man. I don't give a shit. Like, I feel like that's why I go so hard for them because they don't get credit for shit, right?
Yeah,
They
it's
don't get
true. It's
credit
fair.
for
It's a
what
fair. That's a fair
good they
thought.
do, and anytime they do anything negative, it's the world has to end around Xbox, and like that's why I won't sign up for that shit. I just won't. They give me too much. They've done too much good to be crying every time, unless it's like super crazy. But I just can't. So they have the most triple A games in development right now than number one they ever had, or frankly, anyone. No one has ever been making more triple A games at the same time as they are right now, yo. That's just the what it is, right?
I
They
mean, it's
haven't.
true. It's true. Let's see.
Xbox is doing high quality shit, man.
They are. Sin, shout out to you, brother. Welcome as always. He says, absolutely. I'm stuffed over here. No Diddy.
Oh, did he? It's true,
Dang, no
man. Like
Diddy. There you go.
yo, we have so much. Like they also, I think another thing that people want to downplay or not look at like it matters because I guess they're just what spoiled already is Game Pass, dude. And I'm not talking about the day and date first party games. I'm talking about how every single time they do basically every 2 weeks when they show us what's coming next in Game Pass, there's always a new day and date game.
Yeah.
We're constantly getting a brand new game day and date that on any other mother effing place, you're gonna have to pay for it if you want to
Full
play
boat
it.
too.
Full
Yeah.
boat, no discounts or anything. Where we get it el gratis in our subscription. We're we're so well fed, man. It's crazy, dude. Like it's crazy how much we have. So stuff like this, man. These are just huge things for me. And Avowed again is going to be such a big game. I'm really excited for it. I can't think of anything that of Obsidian has done to justify any negative thoughts on this game because everything they've released have been bangers. Whether it's Pentiment for the people who like that type of game, it's a banger to them. That shit got tens in reviews, right? Grounded, another banger that people made fun of, but then ultimately 35 million players or something like that. Like
It's out to do the player count is redonkulous, honestly.
it's crazy. It's crazy, right? They love it, right? And even if you go back to I forget the name of the game that Obsidian made, but it was like their first one they did on their own. It was like a spy game, an espionage type game.
Oh,
Remember?
yes. It's actually Zemi Games is one of his favorite games of all time. Holy crap, chat. You guys are
You,
usually
you
the
know what
smartest
we're
ones in the
talking
room.
about.
What was
Facts.
there was a spy game. Oh my god,
It's
what
a
is the
spy
name of
game
it?
that it was an RPG that
See.
they made, and it was really dope. It didn't get a lot of burn back then, but if you actually played it, it was a great game, dude. I feel I'm pissed that I don't remember the name for some reason. It's just
You know
escaping me
what?
right now.
You know what? Let me hold on.
Yeah, just look it up. I feel like they deserve to have that name out. Alpha Protocol, House Flan. Oh, look at Reaper.
Yes.
Good shit. Alpha Protocol. Yes.
Yeah,
Hey, Blinken. Yes. Alpha effing Protocol. Yes, that game was dope, dude. I
it
don't
was
care
dope.
what
I didn't
anybody says.
finish it, but that game was really good. Like I would love
It
them
was.
to revisit that,
Yes.
like
Bring that
bring that
back,
back,
baby.
bring that IP back with modern graphics. You don't got to do a
Yeah.
remake; just
Remake it.
relaunch the game.
Yep. Yep, just do it with new graphics and bring it out today and clean up, the things that they know were a little janky or and wrong with it. Um, but honestly, they are doing big things, man. Like Obsidian is, basically what the coalition was for last gen, basically holding, holding Xbox down. Obsidian, that's what they've been doing, man. They've been releasing nonstop, or like Insomniac for PlayStation, right? Like they're the workhorse, man. They have small teams pumping out games that are high quality. And I don't envision a situation where Avowed is not at that same caliber, right? That same high caliber.
I want to mimic what a lot of people in the chat said. Big Mad Mo, welcome as always, brother.
Big Man Mo
It's
was good, fam.
Obsidian, and you know what?
Obsidian.
There you go. That should do it. I'm gonna say this. Like I said, we do not shy away from the difficult conversations, but what I see in front of me as an Xbox fan is, and then we're gonna get to the second topic, which is the Starfield DLC, folks. Not the DLC. I'm sorry, that didn't fall. The update, the Starfield update, where it's going to give you your 60 frames, it's going to give you your
Yep.
40 frames and your VRR if your TV supports it. Mine does, and I cannot wait to see what that looks like on my TV. Is next week, is on the freaking 15th, and then the week after that is Hellblade 2.
Man.
And then 2 weeks after that is the freaking showcase. Listen, I get it. Xbox stepped on some rakes. There's some talk about Call of Duty not going into Game Pass. We discussed it last night. I think there honestly it is going to be in Game Pass. I think the reason why we haven't heard anything is because that redacted second, show, which is going to be Call of Duty, is
It
where
is cool.
they're going to control the narrative and
Yeah, but they
announce it Xbox Game
but
Pass
boom,
day and
can I
date.
ask you just so I don't just
Sure.
so I don't go away talking myself in my mind. They already told us Call of Duty was coming in Game Pass.
Well, Phil
And
Spencer actually said, I have, it's funny you mentioned that because I just literally scrolled past what he had. Hold on a sec. Let me bring it up because I sent it to myself so I don't, because I'm always losing this stuff. Okay, so in an interview with Windows Central, this was on February 20th of 2024. It was written by Samuel Tolbert of Windows Central, and this is the headline, folks. Xbox head Phil Spencer says Call of Duty is, with a capital IS, coming to Game Pass, and Microsoft will continue to support physical disc. That was the other part of the conversation, but he said Call of Duty was coming to
But they said it in the Xbox podcast.
yes.
The one that they announced, the game that they said the 4 games are going, they didn't name the games, but Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Phil Spencer all said the game is coming to Game Pass, just like every single they literally said, just like
Yeah.
all of their games are coming day and date into Game Pass. I just if you read the thing, right? The thing that everybody discussed in it, it says they had internal discussions. Had past tense. Yes, before they announced it, I'm sure they talked about every scenario, especially Call of Duty, because we all know that Call of Duty is going to suffer greatly on Xbox as far as sales are concerned. That's what we can all assume. Now, I did hear you I did hear your show, and you had Don Otaku on. And he went ahead and he told an anecdote, like a story that he was talking to one of his, his panel, his
Well,
panel
yeah,
member or
somebody on
something like
his
that.
panel that's a Call of Duty guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's a Call of Duty guy, and he's
Mm-hmm.
talking to him about, getting Game Pass, is coming into Game Pass, and the guy's like, I just play Call of Duty. I think I'm just gonna have Call of Duty, right? So, we all assume that everybody's gonna flock to Game Pass to play Call of Duty only, but I don't think his scenario is that limited. I think that scenario is gonna exist for a lot of people who only play Call of Duty. I mean, that's just is what it is, right? I mean, this is a very probable situation. So we don't know 100%, but we can just assume that with so many new people seeing that it's coming to Xbox, seeing that it's in Game Pass, you'll see that there is an uptick, which means they're going to lose sales. So of course they're a business, right? We talk about all the time, boom, like business is business, right? We know that no matter what decision is made, no matter how easy the decision might be in our minds as a gamer, right? They still have to discuss every possibility and every possible outcome because they have to. They are responsible to the people who are investors and the stockholders, right? That's just what it is, right? So they're obviously going to have that discussion. Listen, if we put it in Game Pass, this is what's going to happen. We're going to lose X amount of dollars day one on Call of Duty. And obviously, we saw the results of that discussion on the Xbox podcast. They had a discussion, they gave us the answer that no matter what, the games are coming to Game Pass because what
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to do is start creating a world where now we question every single game whether it's going to go into Game Pass
1,000%.
or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's be clear. They did tell us, okay? They did tell us, and Phil said it multiple times, that as much as people think Call of Duty is the reason that they wanted ABK, he made it very, very clear multiple times. King is why they wanted
Yeah. Mobile.
ABK. They wanted mobile. They wanted to get into the space that they can grow, not into the space that they already are here. There's no Call of Duty is going to do what it does, albeit probably less now because of Game Pass, but it's still going to do an asinine amount of money, right? The ponies always want to gloat about how most of the sales come from PlayStation anyway, right? Guess what? Most of those sales are still going to be coming from PlayStation.
Yep.
But this time, remember, they're bringing games to Switch, right? So they're going to be bringing games to Switch. So now the people that they're losing of purchasing the game in Game Pass, they're now going to open that up to people who purchase it on the Switch, right?
And
So
you know
they're
something great.
balancing this
That's
out.
a great point because RJ Funtime says Call of Duty on Switch will offset Game Pass. Absolutely correct.
Mm,
And Gary
exactly.
Z in the chat says Double Barrel Gaming put on Game Pass and subscribers get DLC bonuses. Yes, only available that way. People will do it just for that. 100%. If they feel like they're getting something extra for being a part of Xbox Game Pass, so like perks, would yes, that's another phenomenal idea. And I think you're onto something. I think that the PlayStation gamers, see money, are going to continue to buy. Is there going to buy? Is there going to be a migration? Yes. Do I
Some
think that that migration actually happens this year? I don't know because obviously PlayStation does not have any marketing say whatsoever. They can't even utter the words COD on any of their stuff otherwise they're going to get sued. All of that marketing, which is a crazy powerful, is going to go directly to now ownership who is Microsoft, who is Xbox. That is why, but again, I still say you can use that to your advantage and you can offset the loss. And how do you offset that loss, right? What came out of the last financials that hurt them? There was like a 31% drop in console sales, right? That hurt. That was probably the only downside to it. Well, what they could do, and I've been saying this, and I'm still checking my email, Microsoft, if you haven't called, and then again, I don't know if I would take the job at this point because I want to make sure that my voice is being heard. Check this out. Put Call of Duty on a Series X box. Put it in Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and all your favorite stores for $200. And you know what you have? You have a Spider-Man 2018 PS4 Slim situation where you take over the freaking whole conversation and you have
facts.
now sold in a period of what? A couple of days, 2
Yep.
million, 3 million consoles because it's so cheap and Call of Duty is on that box. Now people are going to be like, "Well, wait a second. This is a conversation that Hargeet and I had last night. He thinks that it shouldn't be in there because he feels that it would potentially shutter stuffs like Double Fine and Ninja Theory. And he, again, he might be onto something with that.
Wait,
I
hold on.
push
Wait, he feels that if he put Call of Duty on the box
no. If you
of
put Call of Duty into Game Pass, it potentially will force Microsoft because of the loss of sales to close other studios like a Double Fine. See, and again, I push back, of
man,
course,
we gotta
respectfully
get
because I
out of
love
this,
Hargeet and
man.
his opinion matters.
Well, he'll
For
be on the show
me,
Friday, so we're gonna have fun too.
yeah. So,
Let's
so
see.
for me, I don't think that would be the case at all because what you would have, and again, okay, so when you look at this situation, see money, right? When you say the casual gamer, I'm not talking about the diehard Call of Duty player. I'm talking about a casual gamer who owns a console, whichever the cool console is at that time, and it has been for many years, it's PlayStation, right? They buy a PlayStation 4, potentially upgrade to a PlayStation 5, and they're playing the cool system because their friends have it. They play Call of Duty. They play Madden. They play 2K basketball. They pick it up for NHL. They pick it up for FIFA. Whatever their flavor, WWE, 2K, whatever. I get all of that. That is your casual gamer. Where I pushed back on Hargeet last night was if we're talking about the absolute casual, the normie, if you will, they can get all of those games in Game Pass along
Facts.
with Call of Duty. They get them in with Call of Duty and then they start searching and like, well, wait a second now. Are you telling me that 2K is in here? Yeah, they stay and they keep playing and they keep paying. Me personally, and again, I'm not a listen, folks, I don't have a degree. I'm a freaking knucklehead podcaster. I can tell you that I do understand business 101. If I'm Big Papa Microsoft, what do I want? Do I want 76.43 sale once and some potential nibbling and biting at the microtransactions, or do I want someone paying 16.99 for 12 months? That gets me.
Yep.
Well, I only paid $17 for this. They're going to be more than happy to buy a skin that's $20, which is egregious. I don't buy them mostly. I only buy the super cool ones, and I only bought one, and that was Ash from Evil Dead. That was it. But they got me to buy it, and I don't even really play Call of Duty like that.
I bought a
That's
bunch
my
of shit
point.
that I don't play it too often, but I still have it. I'm ready to go. Listen, this is what I would say. Number one, if I would be dumbfounded if Xbox doesn't have Call of Duty on a Series S for Black Friday.
Of
I just
course,
I would
100%.
be dumbfounded. I think 100% that's gonna happen. I think it's the only thing that makes sense, and I think it will be 199. If we remember the leaked documents, that Xbox had that huge leak that we saw their whole plan. They said for this year, the plan was to be at 199 for the Series S during the holiday. That was the plan. So now you're taking that plan and you put Call of Duty in there, done deal. Even if they go 250 with Call of Duty or 225, that would still be a win. But I
229
think
is it
200,
seems it would be
yeah,
okay.
229 will be crazy.
Yeah.
But I think 200 will be like fuck if you want to just destroy, you go 200. Now, migration is a different situation for this year
Mhm.
because we don't know 100% yet. The rumor is Call of Duty is going to be next gen only this year.
Indeed. That
That's the
has not
rumor.
been confirmed, but that is the rumor, dude, and you are
Yes.
1,000% correct. And with that said, dude, think about you're a businessman, right? You are
Yeah,
a businessman that makes money for your family. What you
yeah,
just said is that this year's Call of Duty, for the first time, is going to be next gen only.
yes,
Microsoft owns Call of Duty. Microsoft has marketing rights. You put a 199 Call of Duty box out there. You want to
yes.
talk about I think that it breaks records that will never be attained in the history of gaming again.
Facts. Because this is the thing. This is what people don't realize, right? PlayStation 4 has what, like 120 million, 124, maybe 130 million people, right? PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4?
Yeah, PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
It's like
the last time I
120.
checked, I'm again, folks, please check, check me if I'm wrong. I think it was 118 million and change. It could be
Okay, so
more, but
close to
that's
120, right?
yeah.
Okay, so Call of Duty has about not Call of Duty, PlayStation 5 has like 50, it was 55, now maybe 58. Okay, so Hargeet says 117. Okay. So what's up, player? So
Yep, yeah, he's 100% right. I got it
117.
in front of me. 117.2 million PlayStation 4s
Okay.
to date as of
So
February 13th, 2024.
what that means is essentially another 62 million people did not come over from previous generation yet
Yeah.
for the PlayStation. Okay. People who own a PlayStation 4 right now, who've been playing Call of Duty every year, who have had no reason to buy a new console because the game that they love is still coming out for them.
Yep.
62 million people have not switched over yet. And then on Xbox side, what was it? Or didn't they end up with like 40 or 45 or something like that? 45 mil or 40 mil Xbox One generation. You're talking maybe 20 million people on Xbox side didn't swap over yet from the last gen. So you go ahead and you look at it, there's like 80 million people who have not had the necessity. Oh, Hargeet says 58 million. Shit. So if
Wow.
they ended up at 58 mil and they're at like 25, maybe 30, you're talking like 30, 40 million people who didn't come over yet from next gen. Now, that is where if Call of Duty is only next gen, that is the opportunity because now you have all those people who play Call of Duty only who are saying, "Holy shit, where am I going to get my fix for Call of Duty this year?" And that, my friend, is where if you got Game Pass, if you have the $200 box with Call of Duty on it, when that dude, first of all, the people who didn't switch over for a reason. They're super casual. They're not looking to make big investments to get into gaming. They just want to have their console and play their game, right? So you have a $200 box with Call of Duty on it, and they're walking through Walmart and they're like, "Holy shit,
It's just stacked up there.
$200?"
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna be ridiculous.
that's where you get the massive bump of people who are going to be coming over from PlayStation. I don't think PlayStation 5 people, I mean, there'll be some, right? There'll be some who'll be like, F it, I'll just go get I'll get the $200 Xbox and get Game Pass and I don't have to pay for this shit no more, right? For sure. But I think their biggest opportunity now is if it's next gen only. If it's not next gen only, then we're not going to see anything until, it becomes next gen only in any real manner, like any real big meaningful way. And then the next point will be on the new console. If Xbox jumps first, like we all believe it to be happening, 2026, they'll go ahead and they'll have another inflection point where they'll be showing a Call of Duty that doesn't run anywhere else because the next gen only version of it is only on the next gen console, and seeing that there's no next gen PlayStation at that time, that'll be another huge bump for people to want to go and do it. Outside of that, I don't think there'll be I don't think people are just going to come. Eventually they will. It'll be a slow burn just for normal people to come swap over who are already invested in next gen. But the real target are the people who didn't come over yet.
Yes.
That's the big possibility.
Well, I mean, look, there are a couple of caveats here. And again, I know this wasn't a part of the conversation, but listen, we're here, folks. So we're gonna continue it because I'm loving the conversation we're having. Um, so the one thing I don't get with the gaming community as a whole, especially the gaming media, is that there's this ideology that, oh, they're not going to leave their digital library behind. No one is asking them to. That's the difference. No one is saying, and I never suggested this, and I don't think C is suggesting this, that someone is going to be like, oh, I didn't buy, I don't have Call of Duty, but I can get it over here for 76.43, or I can go over here and get it for 16.99 a month. F PlayStation. I don't think that. I think what you're going to see is someone is going to be invested in PlayStation, right? They're going to have their library. They're going to have their first party games. They're going to love them all, right? They're going to have plenty of third party games, potentially other Call of Duties that they have downloaded and purchased over the years that they play with their friends. And then they're going to come across a $200 Xbox. And what they're not going to have to do is make this unbelievable investment where they're spending hundreds of or potentially thousands of dollars past the initial I bought for $200 and I pay $17 a month, because they're going to have a plethora of games available in a digital library that they can go and play at will, by also still maintaining their love and affection for PlayStation. I don't think you have to, draw a line down the middle and says, well, if you play here, you can't play here. I don't think I think that is what Microsoft is trying to do here. They don't
You know,
need you to give up your PS5. See, they
no,
need you to
not at all.
invest, buy a console, or not, maybe not even that. Maybe if you have a newer
Just get Game
TV
Pass.
or a ROG Ally or a Steam Deck and you want to play your game there, you don't even have to buy a console. You can simply play there. But if you wanted to buy one, $200 gets a Series S, gets you in the door. If they're casual, like we all been just talking about for the last 15 or 20 minutes, they're not going to care about the P's. They're just not.
Facts. It's true. It's true. And I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, let's call it what it is. I mean, I know Phil made that statement about digital and blah 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 blah. Bro, there's no fucking difference. I'm sorry. Sorry. There's no difference between a digital library and your physical library. At the end of the day, you're still invested in games. And every generation, we all swap to whatever we wanted to swap to. And if you're a Nintendo dude, none of your games ever worked going forward, right? And then for us, Xbox dudes, we've been able to move our physical and our digital library forward the whole time. PlayStation, they're just getting around to it and they don't even do it well. But it's not like, oh my god, I have 1,000 physical copies. So I'm okay. I'm okay leaving that. But if I have 1,000 digital games, that I can't cross. Like, come on, man. That's silly, right? At the end of the day, they're not throwing away that PlayStation 4. We're talking about casual people, right? If they were casual, if they were that invested, they would have bought a PlayStation 5. They would have bought an Xbox Series X. They're not that invested, right? They're still just playing their free games that they got on PlayStation 4. You think they have hundreds of titles that are digital that they're leaving behind? Come on, man. Like, you know that, right? You know that. Like, that's wild. These casual people don't have that, right? Casuals play only a certain amount of type of a certain amount of games, and they might just be all the free ones for all we know, right? Like, that's the point, right? Like, it's not that serious for people to say, you know what? I have a PlayStation 4, but damn, that Series S looks mighty fine. I mean, that's just what's possible, right? People don't have the same allegiances that we do here, right? The Twitter space that you see, they don't have that allegiance, man. Boom said it earlier. We all know this to be true. The vast majority of PlayStation 5 owners are casuals. They're just the next level casual. They're the next level casual who's willing to spend money to get into next gen. Then the next level casual after that are the people who say, no, I'm not until I really, really have some reason to do it. And that's why what we're talking about here is that, excuse me, something like Call of Duty being next gen only is a huge catalyst for a lot of people to say, now it's time for me to buy next gen. But which way am I going to do it? Am I going to spend $400 or $500 on a PlayStation 5 and then, or a PlayStation 5 Pro or whatever,
Which
six,
is going
six,
to be
seven hundred dollars?
$600.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So do I spend
Hmm.
400 or 500 on PlayStation 5 or 600 or 700 on PlayStation 5 Pro, or and then have to buy the game? Or do I spend $200 and it's on the box? I'm getting the game in there, or even if it's 225 or 250. Again, when you see the big difference between 400 and 225 or 250 and 200, those are big gaps. For people, that's going to be something that's going to be huge, man. If and only if Call of Duty is next gen only. If it's not next gen only, then we'll
I
wait
have a
till that.
feeling it is, dude. Like I
That's
know
what the rumors are, but
that is, yeah, because obviously keeping it on Xbox One, One X, PS4, it is technically holding it back. This game has been in development for many, many years. I think that there's going to be an on like there has to be like a straight up decision that's like, listen, we are holding back this game by putting the other. We're already going to be, what is it, 4 years this November for
yeah,
both consoles.
longest Call of Duty being made.
Yeah, but not even so much that we're 4 years into the next gen, dude. Like,
Oh yes, yes,
I
yes.
mean, I look, money is tight for everyone, and it's this world kind of sucks right now, especially in the finances for a lot of people. So if you're rocking a PS4, if you're rocking an Xbox One X, I'm not here to tell you you shouldn't be have access to games. It's just there comes a point where you might have to upgrade if you want to play. And see, this is where, see, money, we kind of start seeing, oh, wait a second, my footage stopped. So hold on. So we're gonna be here for a few more minutes. Let me bring in some Call of Duty footage. Hold on just a
There we
second right
go.
now.
There we go. There we
Where
go.
are you, Call of Duty? Sorry if you've already seen it, because I normally I just roll. So let me just get that up here. There we go. Okay, so there you go. So Call of Duty footage for you folks while we continue this conversation.
Nice.
Okay, a lot of things haven't gone so great for Xbox in 2024, right? We're all aware of it. We're not going to reiterate on it. I say that all to say, Simon, what appears to be happening is this giant storm for Microsoft and Xbox Game Pass. and everything needs to hit. It needs to hit in like a ton of bricks, and if it does, well, it is going to be some really impressive numbers. Call of Duty, hypothetically, folks, if it's next gen, meaning that it's only going to be available on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Those are the platforms. We know that there is no Switch 2 in 2024. That is probably coming in March of 2025, right? We're not even gonna hear about the console, which is disappointing this June, where the E3 is supposed to be happening. I thought for sure we would get that. It's not. Okay, so fine. We know what 3 platforms it's coming, right? We know based on wordage from Phil Spencer, whether you believe him or you don't, you lost faith, you didn't. I'm not gonna hold your hand on that. That's entirely up to you as an adult. I still believe in Phil. It's going into Game Pass. So here, this is the monster storm, folks. Game Pass gets Call of Duty. Xbox has the marketing rights for the first time since the end of the Xbox 360 era. The casual audience who may be a majority PS4 owners are going to see that it's not available on the PS4. A PS5 is going to be still $500+. They're like, yeah, I don't know much about that. But then you're going to see the marketing blitz. And if there is a $200 Series S, which plays at 1440p, will play these games, these multiplayer Call of Duty games at 120 frames per second, because we know that the Series S can do it. The X is definitely going to be able to do it. You're going to have a frenzy of people buying this next gen console for 200 beans, getting next gen and not breaking the bank. What do you think about that, Simone?
100%. Like, I mean, I honestly, I that's what I believe is most likely to happen. I just think that that's what's probably gonna happen, man. It's gonna be the best entry point in all of time to get into next gen. Listen, we just found out, all right, let's be clear. We just found out that the Series S this whole time and Xbox this whole time was
Talk
being
about
held
it.
back by the PlayStation 5's 1.5 ass. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
And
saying? Like, we just found that
where
out.
does that story come? We're not covering it now, obviously, but what
Digital
he's referring,
Foundry,
there you
straight out their
go.
mouths.
There
Straight
you
out their
go.
mouths.
Yeah.
So Xbox Series S specifically has been held back. So this is a next gen ass system, more next gen than PlayStation 5's freaking system. And this is a great entry point for a lot of people who financially just had to wait, man. Like, it's just what it is. And again, we toss around the word casual, right? I think we all understand that there's different casuals, right? Like, there's casuals who they play, Candy Crush for their every day of their lives. And yeah, they're
Yeah.
a game player, but that's a casual game player. Somebody who plays Call of Duty every day of their lives is not a casual player. They're a hardcore game player. We
But they're
say
just a
casual
Call of
in the
Duty
sense that they
player.
only play that game, right? They're
Yes.
not invested in an ecosystem of games. They're not on Xbox because they want to play the newest Hellblade. They don't give a shit that they're on the Xbox. That's just the console that they have. Same thing with the PlayStation people. The people who sit there and play Call of Duty, play Fortnite, who play all these other things, and exclusively, like, that's all they play. They have no interest in any of these big games, first party, that are coming. That is why we call them casual. But we also understand that no one, excuse me, who plays any of these, competitive games on a daily is a fucking casual. You wouldn't call, what's that guy's name that plays Halo, who does all those crazy ass fucking videos?
Oh, yeah,
That he
months. Yes. Is that his
that
name?
he does spits or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
some
I know who you're
crazy
talking
game.
about. He does
He
like
just
he
put up a dope
attaches.
ass video. He hit the Warhog. He attached himself. He flew
Yes.
in the
Yes.
air, sniping, one shot and sniping, killing people. Bro, he's not a casual. Okay, he is a more hardcore than any of us in here.
Sarah
But
Glow
he
says it's mint blint
Mint Split, yeah,
yeah,
that dude.
yeah, yes. Thank you for
Um,
that, brother. So
but
appreciate it,
he
Sarah Glow.
mostly only plays Halo, right? So again, I mean, it happens to be that his game of choice is a first party, game, which technically he could only get it on Xbox, so that's why he has it. But the point is that those people who put so much hour into being amazing at this shit, like, come on, man. Like Ninja back in the day when he was playing Fortnite, building shit like a crazy person. He's not a casual. He's just fucking really good at one game. That's like calling a football player a casual sport fan because he only plays football. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're not trying to put disrespect on people who play any of these games. It's more so just recognizing, when we use casual, it's because they are only playing a certain type of game or a certain game. They're not in it for the ecosystem. So when we say those places and people haven't come over, they're casuals because they're only playing the one game that they can get anyway. So they don't care about moving forward. Now you take that game away from them. Now they're forced to move forward.
Yes.
The question is where, right?
Yeah.
Do they go to PlayStation? Do they go to Xbox? I know people say, they go where their friends go. Yes, back in the day, they used to go where their friends go. And I think casual people who are just doing it are going to do that. But somebody who's going to choose to leave their platform and go up to something else, they don't care. They're just going to go where their game is because why? Crossplay. Crossplay is here. Everybody can play with anybody.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where you are.
Yep.
So that idea is old. I get it. It's an old narrative that some people like to live with, but that's an old narrative. Nobody cares about that. These people know that you can play the games everywhere.
You can.
So,
You absolutely and that's the one. That's the caveat. Because I know there's going to be some people like, but wait a second, what about their friends? They can still play with their friends.
Yeah,
they just have to do allow for crossplay. And if you are a PlayStation player, you're not going to lose your friends. You can just say, where are my friends? And you can figure it out a way to get over there to them. Say, listen, I'm on. Let's play. And there you go. Listen, let me catch up on the 2 super chats we got here. And again, I want to do a quick announcement for tomorrow's show, and then we'll get everyone out of here. Because again, this is normally a smaller show. This was great. I had a freaking blast. See money, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. One guy in the chat is saying that we're damage controlling, brother. Welcome. I don't get it. I did not hear no damage control from any of us at all. I think that we are just not being negative Nancy's. There, yes. Are we upset?
That's the problem. If we're not berating Xbox, then we're damage controlling, right?
Right.
So the world that they all live in, and this is what happens everywhere now. If you're not following everybody else and making all your content just bashing Microsoft for a decision that they don't agree with, listen, come on, man. Like, move past it, bro. Everybody can feel what they feel. And if they don't feel like you, get out of here. You know why? Because if you put out content and somebody else was telling you what you should feel, you would be like, who the fuck are these people telling me what content I should make? But if it doesning align with them, they turn around and say, look at what look at what they're making. They're not following the crowd. They're not dogpiling on Xbox like everybody else is.
Ridiculous.
What's their problem? They're grifters. They're trying to feed into a narrative.
That's the word of the year. Grifters. Xbox grifters.
Like the motherfuckers found the dictionary, saw the word grifter, was like, oh, I'm gonna use that. Oh, they're a grifter, bitch. You never use that fucking word until you Google that shit. Oh, what's a word? What can I use? Oh, grifter. Great. Come on, man.
Good stuff all around. Listen, hey Blinken, welcome as always, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity. He drops.
That's a dope name.
Yeah, it is. That absolutely is. Because I was thinking of Abe Lincoln whenever time I say it. He drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, people take out loans so they don't have to put money up front. To say that people would rather buy Call of Duty outright instead of signing up for Game Pass doesn't check out, especially when it's every Call of Duty. 1,000%, brother. 1,000%. To me, listen, even if you have the money, are you telling me, fine folks, that you will give GameStop, Best Buy, Activision, whoever, your $76.43, or you can go to Game Pass and get it for $16.99? I mean, I guess if you're balling like that, good on you, man. But no, I will get it in Game Pass. That's just me. Gamer by Choice drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, humans are fickle. Indeed they are. And some creatures of habit. Not sure how many non-Xbox games will will switch because people don't always do things based on logic. I mean, it's true, but I think that there is going to come a point that it's kind of a forced situation. If they're not going to release on older platforms, people are going to have to move. This is where Microsoft can strike while the iron's hot, so to speak, for a
Yeah.
lot of reasons. They have Game
Also,
Pass, they have
you can't forget
marketing.
that 360 was the leader, right? They had
Right.
over 80 million people. So it's not the humans that were fickle then didn't have a problem going to PlayStation 4 when things looked better over there, right? So it's I get it 100%, especially game by choice to homie. But I think at the end of the day, if they see something that makes monetary sense to them, right?
Yeah.
Monetary, because that's understand, be clear. That's what made sense. Xbox One and PlayStation 4 generation 500, 400.
Yes.
That is what did it. Okay. That's what made that the casual box because it was the cheaper box. Again, this is always comes down to money.
It
That's
does.
why you think Xbox Series S is the one that sells the most, right? Rationally speaking, it makes sense to do a Series X if you're a hardcore gamer, right? But casuals don't need all that, right? They're happy with the Series S and they buy it. That's just what it is. Dollars are what always going to make sense to people. Nobody is wondering, nobody stops to like nobody says I'm going to ignore the dollars. Like that's the thing that matters to people.
100%. Yeah. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, this is the word no one has used in the chat. We haven't used it. It just popped into my head before I continue to super chats and get everyone out of here. The word impulse buy is something that is
Yep.
incredibly relevant. And if you take a popular IP and you put it like C Money said, when you walk into Walmart, right? When you're doing your shopping and you're just about to get into the electronics section, what do you see? You see all those TCL TVs lined up, right? And they say like 298, and you're like, if you are a casual, you're like, I could get an HD TV for 300 bucks. I'm in. And they go get a wagon and they ask their wife or the significant other to help them put it into the cart. That is what exactly you people are laughing. I even know you're laughing because I'm laughing inside. So I know it. This actually happens. It's true. When you put a $200 Series S with Call of Duty on the box and whether it be a month or 3 months of Game Pass in there, it is going to sell like freaking hotcakes. And that is the definitive factor. That what you'll get is, again, people paying over time for Call of Duty and all of the other things. The casuals that do buy 3 games a year, they buy 2K, they buy Madden. Those games are in Game Pass. You get Call of Duty, Madden, and 2K in your Game Pass subscription, you'll be throwing your $16.99 at Microsoft. And then once the bangers, see money, start hitting, like Indiana Jones and Avowed, even these are games that are going to hit so hard that, again, they're going to see Hellblade. Like, am I watching a freaking movie? And they're going to try it. And it's going to be right there for them. This is, like I said,
Yep.
yes, we can be upset about some of the moves that were made earlier the week. It sucks. It is. I still feel bamboozled about Tango Gameworks, but it just is what it is. I don't like it. I talked about it, but now we have to move on to why we're Xbox fans. There's a lot to get excited about, and we'll leave it at that. JD Gamer drops several super chats here. The first one of $2 says, by the way, pathetic port begging ponies still got no games. Indeed, they don't have any games. That's just what it is. They don't have any games this year. JD Gamer drops an additional $2 super chat and goes on to say, if it's about competition, let there be competition. That's obviously a very famous quote from Satya Nadella regarding ABK. He drops an additional $5 super chat and says the purpose of competition is to win, and Xbox is winning. I believe so. I believe that's very true. He says highest revenue ever, most studios ever, most games than ever. Xbox is winning, baby. Indeed, they are. Gamer by Choice, generous friend of the program, drops out an additional $5 super chat. And he goes on to say, see money, people, ingested bleach to cure COVID, so we cannot assume people are logical. LOL.
I
We
mean, you're
just
not
gotta
wrong. You're not wrong, Gamer by choice. You're not wrong.
he says we just gotta hope that they
there were
see
probably a bunch of
Xboxes.
ponies, I gotta say. I would imagine. All
Oh
right.
my
That's the only thing
God.
I can say.
He goes on to say
It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
we just gotta hope that they see Xbox as a valuable option. Indeed. So look, see money before we get you out of here. Tomorrow.
So we
I'm
just
giv-
say, hey, Shatter Space is dope, so we can say that we talked about Shatter
I
Space.
actually changed it. Yeah, you know what? I'm
you
going to bring
changed it
that
already?
forward.
Alright.
Yeah, because again, it's one of those
Alright.
things that we were just so into the moment. You'll see that I even changed the thumbnail when it goes up on YouTube.
Okay.
I've changed everything already. It's going to reload
Cool.
and it's going to have the new thumbnail and the new title. I am going to cut up some of it to put it out like smaller videos because there was some really dope conversations that we had. And I want to get that out there for people to digest it in smaller pieces. Tomorrow, we are giving away 2 games, Fallout 76, thanks to Sith Lord. He sent me a code. I'm going to give that out. And Zao, Tales of Kanzara. That comes the way of EJ Jackson. He actually sent that code last week. For some reason, I couldn't get it last Friday. We're going to give those 2 games away live on the air, but that's not the only thing we're giving away. Folks, to celebrate the Hellblade 2 release, I'm going to give away tomorrow. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. 5 of these coins. I'm going to be sending you not only one of these Hellblade 2 coins, courtesy of Ben Kenobi. Of course, Holly, that blue number, works with him. She helps with distribution. And also in the art department, don't forget, Sean Labrie is also helping on the back end. I'm going to be giving you, let me see if I have a second to grab it. Well, I'll show it to you tomorrow. I'm going to be giving you away not only that coin, I'm giving away the Call of Duty coin as well. So tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Breakfast with Boom. We're going to talk about Starfield. I already have a show halfway written. I got to finish it off tonight. I do my best work after midnight. When it's just me in the dark, I do my best work and my best writing. That show is going to be live again, 10 a.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. How do you win one of these coins? Well, super easy. You got to be subbed to the channel because we check. If you win, if your name is picked, we definitely check to see. There's a way to check through our end if you're subbed. If you're not subbed, then we just pick someone else. We don't say your name and like, we point you out. No, we don't do that here. We don't shame here. If you're not subbed, you don't win. And you got to be in the chat. And tomorrow morning, I will give you a hashtag that you will put into the chat, and the chat picker through the software that I use with StreamYards will pick the 5 winners. Those coins will be mailed out. Yes, we will represent you if you are outside of the Americas. It depends on the cost. Obviously, if it's $60 to ship you 2 coins, we can't do it. But if it's like $20, and again, we don't ask anybody. You got to remember, folks, we eat everything. We all costs. We don't ask you for nothing. If you win, you win. And that goes for our international friends as well. Mostly why we do digital is because there's no cost to us. But if we already have a ton of coins to give away and you're outside of the Americas, we will not promise you that we're going to send you the coins, but we will certainly give it our best, financial effort. Because again, if it's $60 or $70 to ship you 2 coins, it's just not worth it at that point. But thank you so much. We had over almost 700 people here live, which is freaking amazing.
Nice.
C-Money, let's sell your brand, kind sir. Obviously on point for mayonnaise. I mean, on point for gamers. Sorry about that.
So many different versions of it people have taken.
You know what I learned about you, sir. I did not know this. Not only do you not like mayo, not only do you not like mustard, you don't like olives. What?
Okay. Olives suck. Mustard suck. Mayo's fine. I don't like an abundance of it, but mayo's fine. Somebody just kept it going, right? They're just
okay. All right. So mayo's okay, but mustard is definitely out.
Mustard definitely dead, and olives is the worst thing ever known to the history of man. We don't need it.
Listen, that's shameful. You're never gonna miss olives on your pizza because I love black olives sprinkled all over the pizza.
Oh my God,
delicious.
God, why? Oh my God! Every time we go to our delis and we get a sandwich, my wife's like, "Make sure you put the olives." I'm not. Goddamn olives.
That's great. I love it.
And he doesn't like mint. Hargeet let everybody know. God damn it, mint,
What don't you
Hargeet.
like?
Mint. I don't like mint. I think mint is disgusting.
It's overwhelming. I'm going to be honest with you. Mint is a little bit
Boom.
overwhelming, but I still like mint too.
Ah,
Wow, that's crazy, brother. We're learning more. Harkeet, love you, brother. Thanks so much for last night. He killed it last night. Being
all
this
olives,
primetime
Lincoln.
gaming,
All olives. They're
all
all dead
olives,
sweet.
not even just black olives. Wow. Okay, well
All
that's fine.
olives.
Listen, brother, sell your brand. Tell everyone about On Point for Gamers, where they can check out you, Doodle, and of course your son, where you guys do
Man.
a family kind of a podcast. Not only do you do that, you do regular podcasts. You have your end of month podcast, which is the block party. You also have the him, her, and a dev, which is relatively new.
Yes.
Talk about it, where they can continue to help your YouTube channel grow, and more importantly, find you on social media.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, first of all, Boom, man, thank you, brother, for having me here. Love doing the show. It's always a fun time, man. So appreciate you. On social media, C Money Forever is right underneath my face, right there on the screen. You could definitely follow me there. Excuse me. We do have a channel that's called On Point for Gamers, and we do 4 live streams, shows a week, and we do videos and shorts and things like that. But on Sunday is our start show. It's morning quest with Doodle and See Money. It's me and my wife. She's normally in here. She's got things going on. But yeah, that's at 10 a.m. Excuse me, Eastern time. It's very chat heavy show. Like we have whatever topic we're talking about, very, very involved with the chat. We just have a great time and spend a lot of time talking with them. And chat's awesome. They always got good things to say. So we have a great time doing that. So that's Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. On Tuesdays, typically at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we have our show, Her, Him, and the Dev, which Boom just talked about. We used to do Her, Him, and the Guest. So Her, Him, and a Guest, we used to get a bunch of YouTubers to come on the show. We've done pretty much everybody, that we cared to do. So we were able, to go to PAX, have a phenomenal experience over there. Really had, great content, really got a lot of exposure, and we ended up making a lot of great contacts with a lot of different publishers and a lot of um, developers. And so we decided to change the show. So now we do Her, Him, and a Dev. We just had 2 shows this past Tuesday and the week before. The first show was Ben Cavallo from Midwest Games. If you don't know Midwest Games, that's the place where Larry Herb, Major Nelson from Xbox, went ahead and he works with them as an advisor. They do a lot of great things over there, a lot of cool games coming out from over there. This past Tuesday, we had Sean Holiday. He works with Tate Multimedia, which is a publisher, and they're publishing this game called Deathbound. If you don't know what that game is, Google that shit right now. Deathbound is fire. We played it at PAX. If when you go check out the channel, um, I have the link in the description now. Check out the channel. We did a uh, interview with him there, and we did some gameplay. So that's there. We had him back on the show. Her, Him, and the Dev with Sean. Awesome, awesome show. It's a great show because we get to see like the behind the scenes thinking, right? Like we're all wondering what's going on at Microsoft. What are they thinking? Well, when we see these smaller publishers, you can kind of extrapolate from them how things work, right? At a bigger level, right? So there's a lot of dope, things to learn about the industry from the people who are actually in it, like the people who make decisions or the people who are part of that decision process, right? So definitely go check that out. And then on Wednesdays, we have our gaming podcast. So it's On Point, is the On Point Gaming Podcast. That's Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern time. The cool thing we do with that show is that we have 2 different things that happen every month. So on the second Wednesday of every month, we do our community blowout. So we just had that yesterday. It was a phenomenal, phenomenal show. Had the actual Xbox community on the show telling us what they feel about everything going on, right? It's great to hear from YouTubers, it's great to hear from content creators, but it was dope to just have the people who are there, that are actual Xbox fans sitting there just telling their piece and putting out there what they feel. So we have normally 7 to 8, between 6 to 8 guests on that show every second Wednesday. So we just had it. Definitely check it out if you didn't see it. And then the last Wednesday of the month, we have our end of the month blowout. Is our block party, just where we get some content creators that we like and respect, and we have them on our show, and we have a good time with them, man. We talk all the fun stuff, the same thing. It's kind of like a monthly recap, but then also whatever's happening right there. So it's just a great time to get everybody all together and have some fun, man. And then our last show is on Friday nights. It's the night shift. Let's Talk Gaming. And that show is at 6 p.m. Eastern. We might actually be moving that later. It might go to 8 p.m. Eastern, just because our Fridays are getting a little hectic with the family before the show. So we might be pushing that back. So it'll either be at 6 or 8 this week, but we'll see. But Hargeet is part of that show. He does join us on that show. It's a great show. And then we normally have Demo Flow Chico Cash come by from Demo Flow Gaming. He's a dope dude. And then sometimes we have a third person, just depends. But it's a fun show. It's a wild show. That show normally goes off the rails. So definitely come stop by for that. But yeah, man, that's it. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you guys. We appreciate you all.
All right, thanks so much for being here, brother. Andre Doyle drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, excited for the Xbox PC showcase. God bless you all. And brother, thank you. And God bless you as well, man. Yeah, thank you so much. Why wouldn't you be excited? I mean, those games are coming. They're going to be in Xbox Game Pass. We're going to get Gears. We're potentially getting some Halo news. We may get some Forza news. That we're expecting some big, never before seen releases, updates on some of the other stuff. Like maybe you hear about Perfect Dark. Maybe you hear about a Fable. There is a ridiculous amount to get excited about. Gears, yeah, that's tip of the spear for me. But ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to all of the super chats and the continued channel member support. We greatly appreciate it. Obviously, it does allow us to do the giveaways. We're doing a couple tomorrow. And again, obviously, you're going to be giving away 5 pairs of coins. One is going to be the Call of Duty coin, which you've already given away. We had a few extras, so we wanted to add another coin to it. And tomorrow, as well, in that package that you'll be receiving, will be the Hellblade 2 to celebrate the launch of the game, which is pretty dope. That's in a couple of weeks. Cannot wait for that. And of course, I'm going to close out today's show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.